Welcome back to the Rondack Junction, and today we're taking a look at the Luzerne Valley Railroad. This railroad was built by a man by the name of Joe Kavanaugh. Unfortunately, recently Joe had passed, and today was more or less a memoriam for him, so you'll see his extended family and friends riding around on his equipment. There is an upside to this story. The railroad will stay, all 2 miles of it, which in 1-inch scale is quite a bit of railroad. A semi-committee is forming around it to keep taking care of it, and the family has decided to let it stay since it's so well built. There's quite a lot of history in it as well. So hopefully you enjoy the video, and let's get into it. Uh-oh.
You're good, Roger. Yeah, we always go to the right in case there's a train coming, so right hand running. Sometimes it's going to take you out to the 4th car barn out there, and then where you have those 2 double reds, and you'll be able to go out. You have a double red, so it's probably got a train coming down from Highland, so just to keep an eye on.
So welcome to the Luzerne Valley Railway. Wonderful 1-inch scale. 4 3/4 inch track in the Adirondacks. And I'm just discovering this place for the first time. It's absolutely amazing.
I think I've got another club to come out to. Well, it's not a club, but...
So it's a private track. Yeah, there appears to be a club forming around it, which is wonderful. The builder recently died, and it gets to stay here.
You guys are 3 with Sam. We'll send you guys out.
And
that's always nice.
That's a good story.
That is a lot better of a story than it could have been.
Oh yes.
Put another passenger behind the blue and red.
This is a beautiful yard.
It certainly is. Well, let's just do a sweep of the yard here. So we've got car barns off to the left there. Of course, the main line on the right. A lot of these cars are homemade right here.
Seems like a lot of stuff in this scale.
There's hundreds of them apparently. It's a very full yard for a miniature railroad yard. There's a lot of cars. And there's a lot of cars out on the line right now. There's 2 or 3 trains at least.
2 or 3 trains.
Railway Express Agency.
Luzerne Valley.
Yep. Luzerne Valley is the railway we're at.
Yep. I like their logo, the spiderweb logo.
Oh,
that's the car builder, I think.
Their timelines.
Yeah.
Whoever that is.
There's a DuPont tank car over there. I like those backloaders over on that side. String of Rutland. Kicking cars in the yard.
A lot of nice cars.
Yeah. Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy. Yeah, Burlington route.
Yeah, some of the cars here are Joe's individual work.
Yeah?
Well, you can recognize this is actually a tool.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Looks like a toolbox.
It's a toolbox. Well, it has handles on either end, but he labeled it for the railroad and has trucks under it and everything. We're pretty sure he did the milk cars here.
Yeah, the milk car, yeah.
The car that I'm putting down there, that spare timelines car, those came from a man in Maine, we understand, who brought them here and, left them to Joe. We'll put it at that. So.
That happens.
Who built the little box car?
He did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Man, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, when I was first here, the yard crew, see the stick laying in the gone? That was the way to move the cars in the yard. You had 3 guys with sticks shoveling them around.
Yeah.
And I was here and I said, gee, Joe, that isn't really, that's kind of hard. You got 3 guys shoving things. And so the next time or 2 times later, I came out and Daisy was here. And I said, oh, look, Joe built me a switch engine. And then
You need to make a remote control.
well, you notice that Daisy, that's his wife,
Yeah.
actually, this car she can take it out with a rider and ride around the railroad, without having to get the big engines out.
Right,
So it just coincidentally became the switcher.
But it'd be nice if you had it remote.
Well, there
I'm thinking
actually
right
was
there.
a Futaba on it at one point, but there were questions about it. Sometimes it would work and sometimes it acted like it didn't get the signal and so forth. So
I got a Futaba on mine, and it's good for, I don't know, 450 feet or so. Yeah.
I think it's fitting that Daisy is number 1. Yeah. Open it.
okay. Well,
All right, so there's a secret to the toolbox.
Well, the box itself is a toolbox, and it's an official United States Army toolbox.
Oh,
From World War One.
Oh,
wow.
it's a 100-year-old toolbox.
Yeah.
On wheels.
Well,
Entrenching equipment for the cavalry.
what it carried. See these slots? It carried saws, so that you could, when you built a trench, you put wood, to keep the trench from falling in on you. You had a box saw, 6 crosscut saws, and 7 crosscut of a bigger size with a supplemental handle, so you could have 2 guys, and you would you'd carry this box out with you. Probably on the cavalry, it would be on a little wagon, and then you would have your tools available. So when Joe acquired it somehow, he said, this is really historic, I'll keep it here, but he actually put wheels under it so he could use it on his railroad and labeled it Luzerne Valley.
So this single boxcar has a lot more history than
anything else
here, probably.
Well, the box part of it definitely.
Well,
does.
yeah.
Boxcar, yeah.
Did you see the inside?
No.
It's a tool car.
It's a tool car
Well,
from the First World War.
It's the box
wow.
itself is United States Army Corps of Engineers, First World War.
Wow.
The slots held what it says entrenching equipment, saws to saw the lumber when you're building trenches.
Holy moly.
So Joe kept all this history to it, but then for his purposes, he put wheels under it and labeled it for his railroad.
Cool.
I assume the outside of the box when he got it was probably in pretty bad shape as far as the paint and everything. So he didn't, it wasn't anything like he was destroying the history by painting it green. So.
Wow.
Come on back.
Here we go, taking a trip around the Luzerne Valley Road.
We're running by directional. I would have said would be sending people out. But with the signals and, you keep an eye on your signals, huh, Sam? Yeah. All right. That's your lady slipper.
I can see it.
on.
Yeah, just sit here with your arm up. If the train's coming, you put the arm down. Nice layup. There were a couple times where I think I was on four wheels.
Was it a mile every 10 minutes?
We enter Joe's workshop after getting a ride around the Luzerne Valley to learn more about his processes between going through and building everything, designing CAD files. As Joe made almost every piece of building and rolling stock on the railroad, we wanted to see how and where he made it. So, I don't want to say new owner, but the person organizing, getting a committee together, gave us a quick workshop tour, starting where he built the rail. Hopefully you enjoy. Sorry about the heavy breathing. My allergies were bothering me a lot, so you will hear that quite a bit. My apologies.
And you place it, you know, well, we got rail on top of that, but essentially you come out and place them all along, and then on the stencil itself, he's got the radiuses of each curve and switch that he would be, you know, he would be building. So how he would essentially do is he'd build them in 10-foot lengths. He'd build it here, depending on the curve or the switch or whatever he was making, and then he'd take them out the back and load them on a flat car and bring them out to the railroad. So yeah, so this was kind of the wood shop, and yeah, so in terms of things that we have here to maintain and upkeep, it's yeah, everything is here. It's again, it's the manpower, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah. Yeah, and then so this was really the wood shop. So facing us, it's up on its side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So that's a building there that he was working on, and you'll see downstairs a bit. But Joe was very meticulous in the sense that, you know, he would CAD it. Then once he had it CAD, he would build little bundles like this, and then he'd say, okay, this is 1/2-inch boards, and I need, you know, 300 of these. So he would make essentially kits for whatever he was building from his CAD drawings.
Oh.
So once he had all those parts, and he'd go, okay, let's start, and then he'd start assembling the, you know, quote unquote kits that he was building. So anything wood related was done in here, and then we'll go down quickly to the shop in the basement and show you guys a bit the things down there. So, and you know, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this track here is actually, you come out, and before he bought the house, he measured the tornado doors, the doors, to make sure that it had enough clearance to get his engines in and his cars in. So he'll in the winter, he would bring in his train of cars or his steam engines. Right there, he's got a little crossover into the basement, and he's got the whole length of the house. He's got a track that does 1-inch track that he'll store the cars and engines in there. So yeah, so it's a beautiful place. He did an amazing job building it, and it's so far I'm seeing it's because he built it well. It's easy to maintain as well. Is what I'm seeing over this season there. So metal shop, or you know, winter shop. So those barn doors open up to here. You remove this insulation, and he's got track here that goes the whole length of the house. So this lift comes up to jump the gap, and he would just roll any rolling stock up in there all the way to the other end. And then, like I was saying earlier, he was very meticulous. So he would, you know, I wasn't kidding. You know, this is 0.68 boards. You know, and he'd have a pack 0.566 boards. So he was, I don't know if I've got the file for this, but he'd have a file for every car he was building, and in there you'd have, so this is the livestock car, so it's these two cars. So in here, you know, he would have his kits built. All right, this is that. Then he's got a few pictures of the 2 stages of this car. Then he has, you know, drawings. You know, then he has the Joe Kavanaugh padded files that, you know, a guide for everything that he was, you know, the side of the car. So he was just very, you know, he got the year on there. He was working on these there early 2023. And yeah, and then like every car you see on the railroad, he's got this all in files and organized. This is just the way he was, just super meticulous and super prototypical. You know, he started in HO, and then he got into 1-inch. He was actually from Jersey Live Steamers. And then he got into 1-inch, and yeah, he moved out here, joined ALS, and yeah, started building his railroad in 2004. So we control a little bit the HO layout that he used to have. So it's one of his steamers he's got there.
I got one of those.
Yeah, a nice Pacific, yeah. Yeah, he was always very proud of his lathe. He's a 100-year-old lathe, and I'm the second owner of it, and it's probably gonna outlive me. And yeah, so he was very proud, you know. And just the detail. I don't know if you guys saw some of the milk cans out there. He had like 100.
Oh yeah, like
some of the milk cans. So he would
just all
cast
over the
every
place.
part and turn every part, and Yeah, so this is essentially machining and the machine shop slash projects. We've been kind of going through some of this HO stuff to figure out what's the next step for them. But this was essentially, yeah, and he's got files for everything. He was building a 1-inch Mikado. That's a 1-inch Male.
Oh, wow.
4-cylinder engine. He ran that all the time. You know, that was a beautiful piece. Yeah. And one of the things he was super proud of, when he had all those awards here upstairs, he actually got in, I think it was in 2022, 2021, he actually got a Master Modeler Award with Ken Nelson. I think they both got it at the same time. I don't know if it was 2022 or 2021, but he was super proud of that. There's a nice picture with him holding it, and yeah, but you know, just model railroad engineer, electrical, model railroad, civil, and it's, you know, just stuff he built. It's just, you guys saw. I mean, you get a sense of it. And then this on the other side is his HO layout, which he would always tell me moved 2 or 3 times before he got here. And it's
beautiful.
Modular. So you got to set this up modular, and he would tell me, see, so that cut out there, you know, I had an air duct at my old place, and you know, I cut that out because it didn't do the air duct, and you know, this is kind of part of the HO Club Wednesday night group that they would come and operate before he was here. So this railroad hasn't seen much use since he's been here, because obviously he's been building out there, but yeah, and yeah. So that's kind of a little bit of the shop here and what he has and what he's built over the years. So whatever he built, he just, you know, he would go all out.
Yeah.
You know, it's and I'm surprised because, like, I would talk to people, it's like, no, I don't know, Joe, I don't know. It's just like, you guys got it. You know, I knew through, you know, 1-inch scale, and then I came to Joe's before I went to ALS, but then it's like, guys, how, like, you got this wealth of knowledge here. You know, you have this guy who you could just sit, and sometimes I'd ask him a question, and he said, oh, okay, and then he'd come out and pull out a folder with all the signals, the wiring, the electronic boards, everything he did, you know, and how he went about it, and it's just, you know, we can't possibly let it go to waste, so we're just looking at preserving and keeping the legacy alive. I think we're going to do pretty good, I think. And then, yeah, see, so we have some of the milk cans here that he had molded. He would pour, this is the molding slash painting, you know, finer details, little soldering station that, you know, but essentially, you know, this is all the milk. You know, I've got an email where essentially goes and shows, and he molded this part, and then the caps, and then these were actually models that came out bad, and he goes, oh, well, the caps don't fit, or I don't have enough caps, and I don't want to cast new ones, so he was going to put them down on the platforms as if milk had spilled, and it was a can that fell open kind of thing. So just attention to detail, you know, this is, you know, molds for steps off an engine, you know, he just you know, he would cast his own molds for everything, and then, yeah. You know, this is probably a window. I think that's a window for one of the buildings out there, and yeah. But it's funny because you talk to him, it's like, Joe, how? You know, where? And you go, eh. And you're like, Joe, I don't think you understand. Like, this is, you know, this is amazing what you built. And he's like, yeah, okay. You know, I was talking to one of his good friends here, John Henchar. His name's on the railroad as well. And it's like, did Joe ever talk to you? You know, he's an old club member from Jersey, and you know, what's the plan? What's the next thing? John said, well, all he told me was, it's not my problem. It's not going to be my problem anymore, you know? So it's like, okay, yes, you know, true. But, you know, to build something like this and then be like, we'll see what happens, you know? It's not going to be my problem anymore. So, yeah. You know, and as, you know, this here is like a tester for board, for the signals out there. So essentially, when you guys were operating the signal system, we plug in the boards in here, and then you can simulate occupation and make sure that the output gives a green or a red. So, you know, he'd build jigs like this where, all right, occupation there, you know, this light should go on, or approach from this side, you know. So that's how we test the boards. And Ken Cameron knows a little more about you know, the electronics aspect of it. I've done and upkept, but he actually rebuilt boards with Joe. So, and eventually we're going to see maybe about going maybe into Arduinos and swapping out some of the stuff into just different program. Okay, this is a Type 3 board, program it as a Type 3 board, plug and play, and you know, so yeah, that's about it. This is shop down here, and yep, he's going to be missed for sure. The current plan was just to bring it up, and I've met Steve Letterman up here. He had run Steam a couple of years, and I was going to show him an email like, hey, what was the result of this? I see you have an email with Joe. This is what I got. What's the next step? So Yeah. So yeah, Colonel. Yeah. No, this is actually. Joe, we should get that on. You know, I actually got it on the table earlier this year and took a look at it and said, yeah, this is doable. You know, put a nice controller in there and. Oh yeah, yeah. You know, it works. It's just, and it's in wood. You know, if I'm not mistaken, these are actually functional pins.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was nice to see another railroad other than the Adirondack Live Steamers. I hope you enjoyed getting a look at the Kavanaugh Railroad, or the Luzerne Valley Railroad, and the Kavanaugh workshop that's with it. It is sad to hear of the passing of Joe. I never personally met him, but the fact that his legacy lives on and the railroad gets to stay is probably what he would have wanted. So with that, hopefully you have a good day, and like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.